Anime faithful, what is good, yo? So, let's talk about the gambling wifey real quick and just how ridiculously crazy our girl is. Not to mention the second off the table bet that was like a third party bet throughout this was very, very genius, and just all the signs of the girl in the wheelchair showing that she truly is going to pull off any type of stop of, the president slash anybody really getting the heads up on her. And I think that's one of the things that really make like Unico and just the main characters in general very dangerous, because every single time we think we know how good or bad someone is at something, they just go and show us completely different. They're just like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, I may seem like I wasn't that good at all this stuff, but I'm a god at it, Which we got to remember, everybody in this family is like the master at gambling at something. So none of these people should really be falling for obvious ruse, and none of these people should be losing in any like really dumb ways that are easy to see and stuff like that. So, with that being said, it's funny to see one of the girls who, supposedly are from the best of the best, cut from the best cloth, is pretty much getting bodied by somebody who is relatively nothing. And only relatively nothing in the eyes of our main character, of course. She absolutely destroyed her, so it's funny to see this girl pretty much getting the upper hand on people that, pretty much live for gambling, as well as that's someone who she lost to. She lost to someone that lives for gambling, and to think that she got the upper hand against someone that does it kind of, goes to show you that some of these characters, they seem like fodder when it came down to just the overall narrative of the story, needing them to be, big, just until our main character shows up and knocks them off their pedestal. But with episodes like this, it gives you that feeling that they could be around for a while. There's definitely going to be now a little bit of progression for the guy with the glasses, who pretty much had no real um, motivation or drive anymore after his life being put through the ringer the way it was. So it's like you have all that going on, not to mention the fact that everybody in this show has their ups and their downs. Like everybody's good at something and they're bad at something, but seemingly when we learn what our main girl is bad at is pretty much nothing. Like she can even read a situation that she knew was going to be a negative for her, even though she's the one who brought up the whole entire arrangement to do this game and invite it to certain people who are here. It still was a gamble, and that's why she did it. That's why our main girl does anything. As long as she's having fun out of it, as long as her, um, you know, whatever she's doing in this gambling doesn't get like messed up. Because you see how crazy she can act as soon as somebody who supposedly goes back on their word during a gamble. Like she won't forgive you, to the point where she'll start acting out on her own and just trying to pretty much handle things that were already planned to be a team effort type of deal. So those types of like weird aspects of her are very fun to watch, and I think that's another reason why I don't know, I fell for the show like very easily, because she doesn't come off like your average characters, and because of that, I can respect, whenever they push her character just that much further to do that much more crazier things, in the sense of just like guessing what's going on, or calling out someone on their bluffs. Stuff like that is not very surprising anymore, because she's so good at what she does. We expect her to figure out these situations Um, but I think even more so is she knows the people to recruit and the people who to kind of cater her, like her certain types of way she talks to people, guys. Like, if you haven't noticed, she talks to people a certain way when she wants something. And what she wanted this week was to figure out who the traitor was, and by doing so, she pretty much puts her crazy gambling high into just anybody. Like, it's so contagious seemingly. And that's another reason why I love her character is her personality is literally contagious, and people can't help but to act like her or follow her lead after she gets, going. And I think that's a very, very cool just aspect of her character in general, because regardless of what she does, someone somewhere, if they're gambling against her, has a like 50% chance to just fall under her spell and pretty much do all the things she wants you to do. And because of that, this week's episode definitely goes, in a better direction than it could have, even though most of what we were seeing from this episode was, just the fact that regardless of what happened in this match, the person who's supposed to be in second place won a lot of chips without even being a part of the contest. And that's really what they hit home this week, is that regardless of anything you're doing, there could be somebody in the background just waiting to get their opportunity to, take any type of currency or any type of gain you get. They can all just be sitting there waiting for you to get it, and then as soon as you get it up, well, by the way, there was another bet behind closed doors that you guys didn't know about, and because of that, I made more money than all of you, and not to mention the person who wins this week, being the girl that, isn't the highest of gamblers and the best of gamblers, she still wins it all, right? And the reason why her overall next move was a mistake, and the only reason why she lost at all, was because she bet that the person that she loved pretty much would wind up either not getting coins or getting coins. And because she voted he would end up not getting coins, she lost because he did end up getting coins. He ended up not getting coins or not losing coins. So I guess she voted that he would get coins. Like, she lost in the long term. So at the end of the game, because of how many people put in and how much was going on throughout the 4 rounds, it comes out that they have like a good amount of stuff to spread across, everybody. But it turns out that the first place winner gets 100, and I think the 2 second place winners get 30. So there was a decent amount to be given out in the first place, but after giving out that 100 to first place, she then loses the bet and owes up to 150. Like, you really think you win a bet, but then all of a sudden things just happen. And not to mention Unico, our main gambling wifey, she pretty much knew this person could pull this off. She knew that this was a possibility from the jump. So to then see it all happen and unfold, she didn't even, it didn't even change her persona. Nothing really, it didn't hurt her or anything like that. She just was, I want to say, interested in how the turn of events came about. It went from, oh, we can, win and find out who the 2 traitors are and all this, to as soon as it's over, someone still wins so much more than you and weren't even a part of the match in general. So that's the type of stuff that this show really does well, is even when you think you know what's happening, sometimes there's things in the background still going on that we don't even know about until they're introduced. Um, but yeah, with our glasses man going back and gaining back his pretty much his mojo of just being able to deduct and pay attention to very small details, we find out that the two traders were pretty much leaving notes for each other. And once those notes, or once they saw the note, or once they saw what the person said, all they really had to do then was show up, do the little bit that they asked, like, if you can keep these 5 coins as long as you do the so and so. And she tricks one of the people who non-stop gambles all the time. She's only gambles. And she tricks that girl into believing she has won because, of course, with how dumb, some leaderships make other people, or just like some people see power, and when they see it, they just flock to it like some flies that have no true opinion or no true thought process. And that's what I kind of feel like this girl was when she lost, because even in her loss, she was angry, she was frustrated, she was embarrassed, she was crying. There was one tear that came from her eye. I can't say she was crying, she cried. She had one tear. And all of those things, but to think that she learned something from being bested by someone that wasn't a part of her family, and the reason why she even allowed herself to go along with the little thing that she was given was because she thought she could take out more people by following it than she could just by playing by her own bases. So that's kind of where I was confused why she would have gone with that plan, knowing the person that's in front of her too, so she knew who the one was leaving the notes. So it wasn't like it was a surprise to find out who was the one that was helping me out. So it's really cool that they played this out the way that they did. I expected a lot from these family members, and just to see them go against our characters in gambling is definitely fun. But when we see the president, or the president, the ex-president, and we kind of just get a little bit of how she's feeling about the situation, she could care less, guys. She don't care. She's just pretty much happy that Yomiko, or our gambler wifey, is even involved in it, so she can pretty much have fun. So that's the type of woman that truly gives me goosebumps every time I see her. Like, she likes to look at fish eating each other just because, she's like, oh wow, look at my fish kill each other. This is awesome. That's just the type of person she is. And not only does she have the fish tank that literally verbatim shows that, she treats this whole entire school like it's this aquarium. So to know that you could easily be, eaten by a bigger fish at any given time is pretty much her ideal situation of living in this, school, or going to the school that she's the leader of. And now we get to see just what's the most, and pretty much it's the wheelchair girl. And that was obvious because they even introduced them to pretty much be like that. They introduced her as someone who pretty much wanted to take over the reign. It was obvious that she was the one who's going to be calling a lot of shots, seeing how she already had like 3-4 girls surrounding her I think in this episode, or not surrounding her, but they're all looking at her as a leader instead of just someone that's just there watching. They know she has a better chance than anyone, supposedly. And the guy who with the pink hair, or like one of the guys in the show that came in with all of them, he's super lame, man. I thought he was gonna do something cool, but all he did was just follow the leader and cave like everyone else. Ooh, I'm gonna do what she's doing, even though I called her out for being a liar and a manipulative and this and that, and now I'm gonna follow her. It's like, okay, so do you think for yourself, buddy? Because last time I checked, you came in on someone's coattails as well, so you're just gonna keep that trend up. That was kind of lame for his character, but overall, man, I enjoyed this episode, and we're getting probably right into another gamble next week, you know. So just expect gamble after gamble, because this is a 12 episode series, and we're at 8, I believe now, so we're pretty close to the end, and that's just how these shows be. They kind of don't have time to flesh out character development and tell us why certain people are doing certain things, but as for now, we at least get to see the end game of this gamble, and we're probably going to see the president step in pretty soon here, seeing how she almost went to second place, or she did go to second place after this week, so we'll see what happens there. Alright, my anime people, have an awesome day, night, evening, whenever you're watching this, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.